Welcome to the Philadelphia Sports Table Podcast Show, the longest running weekly Philly sports podcast show in the world. 12 years strong. Got a great show coming your way this week. I'm Jeff Warren here with my buddy Eric Leonard, better known as Jackson. How are you, buddy?
What's up, bud? How you doing?
Doing all right, man. I'm
Good.
doing all right. Look, we're going to certainly be getting into the Phillies here. We're going to be getting into some Sixers talk as well, some Eagles talk on this show. But man, I'm still so bummed about this Phillies freaking team. But I mean, we're gonna get into it in a bit. Look, I know I'm like all over the place right off the bat here. You and I were looking at concerts to go to. There's some good death metal stuff coming around.
Whitechapel.
Yes.
Who else do we talk about? Death Angel. Coming. Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
I'm all over the place here as we're recording this on Wednesday.
I guarantee 1% of this audience is like, "Oh, cool, nice."
Yes.
Probably Simon. Pretty much it.
Probably. Yes, our good friend from Australia who's been listening to us for like 12 years.
He's the only guy I can think of that would be into this talk. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we got to get to a show. I'm serious. I'm tired of being so busy all the time. I'm running my kids all around. I mean, I'm doing dad stuff, right? I'm doing dad stuff that I need to be doing, but man, I just want to go to a show. I just want to see some live music. I can't wait till this election's over. Like I just said, I'm all over the place here. I really am.
Yeah. Okay. So I shipped a kid off to college a few months ago, or 2 months, whatever it was. And I thought like everything would like slow down, but my son's sports schedule and everything else. And now he has friends.
Yeah.
That he can hang. I'm driving around more than I ever did, but then I realized like my daughter had my car for a year.
Oh, there you
go. Take care of her. So
yeah.
And plus we're dealing with old parents. We talked about that before the show.
Yep.
That's
fun
for guys our age trying to raise a family and deal with
our elderly parents,
the children that are our parents.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
They're children. Yes, they are.
They kind of are. It's like, Eric, I can't get the thing from the top shelf. Can you take me to the doctor then? It's like, oh my God. All right, just
I can't get my Cheerios.
Yeah, when I was 8, I was like, I can't reach that. Can I take me to the doctor? It's all reversed. So
yes. Well, we're gonna be getting together this Saturday. It's gonna be cool to hang out. You got your fantasy basketball draft right around the corner here, man. Right at your house. I can't wait. Going to be a great time. Hopefully, I won't draft Joel Embiid again in the second round.
We just saved for the show. I can't wait. Whoever takes him, because we're all going to laugh.
Yes.
It's just going to be. He's ranked like we talked about. He's ranked like 50 to 55.
Oh gosh,
in the fantasy rankings. Oh my, that's got to be the lowest since he was a rookie. It's so bad. But
brutal.
But this will make you happy. You know what I'm making?
What?
My
Meat?
Famous bacon blue cheeseburgers.
Oh, yes.
I know. On the brioche bun.
Make me 4. Yeah, make me 4 of them.
I'm going to make like 20 patties because I know you guys. So
yes,
yeah.
A bunch of animals. Yeah. There's meat around. I go crazy.
There's bacon in there and cheese.
Oh my God. Oh. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be great. Can't wait. Hopefully I have a better team than I did last year. Gee, I'm not kidding. That pick, that Joel Embiid pick of mine, I think it was the second round. It was second or third round. That was a killer, man. That like killed me.
Who'd you pick in the first round? It wasn't great either.
It's Halliburton.
Yeah, okay. But he missed like 20 games. So
he did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you followed up with Embiid, who barely. Yeah, that's a rough one. Yeah,
it was terrible.
No,
there's a reason why I was at the bottom of the barrel.
Don't take Halliburton this year. I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
He tore his Achilles in the finals.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't.
Yes.
I thought I was making a joke. I shouldn't have said anything. You would have
completely forgot.
I would have like put him up in the top 10, like somehow, and maybe you'd be like, "Ooh."
I still got to do some research here. Okay.
Okay.
I'm still on this this downslide here with the Phillies. So why don't we get into it here? Let's first get into some listener feedback that we got this week from one of our longtime listeners, Francis. Here he was a bit enraged by the Phillies, and the subject of his email to us here, PhiladelphiaSportsTable@gmail.com, by the way, was 4 fucking hits. And he spelled fucking with PH. So
I read this like 4 times. This is a great one. Yeah.
It's a great email. It really is. He doesn't even start off greeting us. He usually greets us, no time for that. He just said, same shit, different postseason. Yep. What will our position players do this offseason to improve their plate discipline? Nothing. like they do every postseason. Maybe blame the fans a bit. I like that.
Wait, hold on. I love
fans.
that he didn't even put an exclamation point for nothing. Just
exactly
nothing.
nothing. Exactly.
Period.
We can't truly pay Ranger and Schwarber, but need both. Only hope that maybe Ranger's injury history dissuades other suitors. Maybe Kyle rejects a higher team's offer for something familiar. And then in quotes, I get paid to hit baseballs. Nick Castellanos, fucking jabroni. What a waste. I hate everything. That's probably my favorite line. I hate everything. Really? And that, but he does actually say, thanks for doing the pod, as always, Francis. So thanks, Francis. We appreciated the email. This is a good one to read through. It really was. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong with this stuff, too. 4 fucking hits. Come on.
I love jabroni. I would have went ham and egger, but that's my own personal preference. Jabroni is very fitting because Castellanos is kind of a meathead. So
yeah,
I have no arguments. This is a foolproof. You know those tables like prove me wrong or whatever. I can't.
Yes,
you hit every bullet point, Francis. So thank you.
You know, I got into it on the Table Talk show this week with our friend John Jansen from Fox Sports Phillies The Gambler, and we were talking about the Phillies, what the offseason may look like. And, you know, Eric, we still haven't talked about this, but at the end of the day, I actually, as terrible as a flub and blunder as it was from Orion Kerkering, it really does come down to what Francis was just saying. Only 4 fucking hits. Like, it comes down to your top guys on this team not coming through during the postseason. Schwarber, Harper, and Turner. And, you know, it's a good segue into, you know, what we're going to see this coming off season from this team. Look, Rob Thompson, we know he's coming back. It's official. But there absolutely need to be changes to this Phillies team next year. And, like, what should those changes be? There's so many rumors floating around, and a lot of folks like us are dissecting what it could be and what type of team we are going to see. I could actually see Trey Turner, like I was talking to John Jansen on the Table Talk interview show, go back and listen to it. I could see them trying to move Trey Turner to get that contract off the books. I can also see Bryson Stott not being around, Alec Boehm not being around. You know, we could have an entire new outfield. What's going to happen with Ranger and Kyle Schwarber? And maybe we start there, because you're talking about big contracts that need to be signed or that fans want to be signed. I think they're going to try to really bring Schwarber back, and I think they're going to let Ranger walk because I think Ranger's going to be way, way too expensive. That's just my initial gut reaction. What are your thoughts with regard to those two guys there? Because at the end of the day, like, I think like the money the Phillies are going to want to spend, it's going to be one or the other.
I mean, like, okay, there's so many options here, right?
Yeah.
Is your question specifically about Schwarber and Ranger?
Yes. Why don't we get into them first? Like the big type of re-sign, like a big type of re-sign. Should they re-sign Ranger or Schwarber? Because I'm feeling at this point that from a financial standpoint, they're probably going to do one or the other.
This is going to sound like blasphemy, but I think keeping Ranger is like the bigger deal.
Ooh, all right.
It's just Schwarber was amazing last year, but he does play a position where I think you could moneyball a little bit and bring somebody in, or even promote somebody to that, or move them to that position where you can get like 70 to 75% of what Schwarber did last year.
Okay. Schwarber's going to be 33 next year.
It's going to be 33. And I think if you offered him a 4-year contract with heavy on the money, obviously, because it's only 4 years.
Yeah.
And he accepts that, awesome. That I go ahead and run with that. But if he demands like 5 or 6 more, I think I would let him walk.
Yeah.
And put my attention on the Ranger Suarez, because I'm seeing, so I'm bringing, I have up the list of free agents for next year.
Okay.
And the top 4 pitchers are Chris Sale, who's 37 years old. Okay. Dylan Cease, 30 years old. Framber Valdez, 32, who gets hurt a lot. And then Suarez is the 4th ranked one with a 7.5 WAR. Yeah. He's only 30 years old. The way he pitches doesn't matter that he's 30 years old. I think he's actually the more important player to keep out of the two, because the Phillies were in those Dodgers games because of the pitching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They couldn't hit the damn ball, and I know letting Schwarber walk creates a concern there, hitting wise, but I think you have to maintain that solid pitching core. When Wheeler comes back next year, Sanchez
hopefully he comes back.
Hopefully, exactly. And if he doesn't come back and you let Ranger walk, then you're screwed. And the amount of fans from other teams I've seen saying, "Go after Suarez, go after Suarez, go after Suarez." Like I saw an Astros account today on Twitter say he's the guy to pinpoint. I saw someone from the Diamondbacks, "This is the guy we should go after." And I'm just like, I think if you look at that list, he is probably higher. The smart teams are probably looking at that going, he's the guy to pinpoint. Like, he's only 30. You have another solid 3 to 4 years out of him as a legit starter, as long as he gets in better shape and stays healthy. But I honestly, my thing is like, and I'm gonna like launch off of Francis's email. I think you let Schwarber walk if it doesn't take the 4 year. You focus on Ranger. I think you go heavy after the kid from Japan that everyone's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Murakami. Yeah. He's 25, 26, just blasts home run. He had a couple of home runs against Team USA a couple of years back when they played in the whatever those games were, and he was so impressive. He plays third base.
Yeah.
There's your move of Alec Boehm, if you could get him. And if the Phillies are worried about money, you're going to open yourself up to a whole new marketing like floodgate with the Asian market,
Yeah.
I know the Dodgers are going to go after him heavy. So are the Yankees. I think the Phillies got to step up and finally get one of these guys. Like when Ohtani came over and the Dodgers seemed to get all of them. I think the Phillies really got to enter that market, and not just again because he's so talented and he could fill in at third base, but like I said, if you read Francis, there's two things. If read Francis's email, there's going to be a malaise here with the fan base if you start to bring the same team back again next year.
Yeah.
I know they'll be excited at first, but I think they're going to start to be like, we need to re-energize this thing. And I think bringing in someone like him, and again, financially opening up that market to Asia, could offset some of the costs of that as well.
Yeah.
I think you go after Suarez. I think you go after this kid. And I think you go after Kyle Tucker if you can. Spend the money, man.
That's interesting. Yeah. And see, and these moves that you're talking about is one of the reasons why I believe that they may be in the market to trade Trey Turner, because look, the Phillies have the 6th largest payroll commitment for next season. It's $170.2 million total. And then 8 players under contract. Zach Wheeler's making $42 million next year. Harper's 27.5. Turner is 27.2. Okay. Mm-hmm. You've also got Taijuan Walker's making 18, Castellanos at 20. I'm not going to go through all of them, but if you're able to move that 27.2 million with Turner and just that huge contract he has basically until 2078, the year 2078, he's going to be here for a long time. I think it gives the Phillies some flexibility. Do I want to lose Trey Turner necessarily? No, but I'd like them to have some flexibility to do some of the things you're talking about.
Yeah. And this might be blasphemous, especially considering Francis's email as well. Maybe you keep Castellanos around for that last year of his contract and make him the DH if Schwarber disappears. He'd be in a contract year. All he'd be asked to do is hit. You want to stick him with his awful glove out in right field. If you got a guy like Tucker, he's your right fielder now. Put Crawford in center field. God knows what you do in left.
Yeah.
And then get the kid from Japan, move Alec Boehm. And then, like I said, make Castellanos the DH. That's like, and re-sign Ranger. Like, you come back with the same pitching, pretty much the same pitching lineup as last year. You have like a revitalized batting order with what we did. Now, the problem is we haven't mentioned Real Muto yet. I don't know what the hell to do with him, because it's another couple mil.
Yeah.
You got to pay this guy. I'm okay if he walks. I know he's all they have at catcher. I feel like they're one of the few teams in baseball that has no catching prospects.
Yeah.
Every team seems to have one guy. We have nothing.
Garrett Stubbs isn't going to do it.
No. It's cute that he wears the overalls and he drinks beer, but like he's not an everyday starter. So they have some flexibility with those contracts. The Aaron Nola contract, he's making 25 next year. He's signed through 2030.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's a rough one, but
he's going to be on the team.
Yeah, but again, if you can't get Schwarber, re-sign Ranger, go after the Japanese kid, and then go after Tucker, and then go from there. You got to do. You have to have at least 3 spots in your lineup that are completely different than last year.
Yeah.
To again revitalize, because you're tempting the fates of having a bored fan base.
Yes.
God forbid you come in next year and you're like 20 and 17. The first like month and a half.
Yeah.
And it looks like the same shit on the field. And people are going to be like, oh my God. Okay. You're going to start to see attendance a little bit. You know what I mean? Like they got to do something different.
They do. How many years have they tried it with this crew? And we are seeing the same results. I have loved watching this crew. I have loved watching it. First round bye this year. They earned it during the regular season. Yeah. It was a fun regular season. Last year, first round bye. They earned it last year. It was, they earned it kind of by the skin of their teeth. The September last year was rough, but this crew has been fun to watch in general, but they're not getting to the next level where they need to be and where we expect them as a fan base. They're not getting it done.
Like, can I just read you real quick that my idea of putting Castellanos in the DH if things work out the way they, if in my head.
Yeah.
So your top DH, your top designated hitters in free agency this year. Schwarber's number 1, right?
Yeah.
Marcell Ozuna is 35. Jock Peterson, 34. McCutchen, who's 40. And
Jesus,
Jimenez.
McCutchen's 40?
He'll be 40 next season. Yeah.
Holy crap.
If you put Castellanos in that list, he's probably number 2 or 3, right behind Ozuna.
Probably.
For the DH list. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
I know there's a huge swath of our fan base who listens is like, shut the fuck up, Eric.
Exactly.
We hate Castellanos. I've said on this show I don't hate him at all.
I know. Neither do I.
But his thing was, I want to play every day. Awesome. You can play every day. You're just not going to be in the field.
Yeah.
All you focus on is hitting. You're going to be a contract year. You're like 30 years old. I think it's actually a good spot for him in the Phillies if they did that.
It's a good thought. Yeah.
If Schwarber wants an exuberant amount of money, I think that's the move.
Schwarber's going to get at least $30 million a year, and that's like the thing, Like I just don't know. I don't know.
Would he take 4 years, 120 when he could probably get 5 and 175 somewhere else? Like I'm sure he could.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh man. Well, we're going to continue talking about this Phillies team and what it's going to look like. Decisions the front office is going to be making as we continue to move along here at the PST podcast show in the future. So we are going to take a break here and we're going to be back in just a bit. But first, like and subscribe to us if you are on the socials out there, specifically YouTube. Like and subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we post new videos. And also, you can like our social sites as well. You can like us out there and follow us and try to interact with us if you want. If you're watching on YouTube, you see the sites right here. We are on Instagram, Twitter/X. I'm over on TikTok, where we got Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky. It's all there. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to be getting into some Sixers talk, not necessarily with the team itself, more nostalgia that we're going to be seeing this coming season. And then we got a ton of Eagles talk as this team has lost 2 in a row. Can they rebound from this? So here's a break. We'll be back in just a bit. All right, we are back. And Eric, let's get into this. Phil, what's wrong?
Can you hear the crickets? They're down here again.
Oh, they're down there? Well, let me hear. A little tiny bit. I heard a little tiny bit.
Well, when we went to break and it was dead silent, all of a sudden they all like a chorus. Wait. Yes. Yeah, there.
By the way, that was perfect last week. I had a horrendous joke
Oh, the cricket.
The crickets. We went right to the crickets. We got to keep them down there.
I should try and herd them over this way.
Yes.
They usually hang out in this corner over here. Yeah.
Yes. Didn't I say like bring peanut butter over? So I don't even know if they eat peanut butter.
Yeah, we discussed that then. And then we're like, what the hell do they do in society, or not society, but like the food chain or in nature. Nature. Yes, that's the term. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the Sixers, because like it's interesting heading into this season what we are seeing the Philadelphia 76ers potentially doing. They're really, I think, banking on some nostalgia to keep fans interested, maybe I want to say interacting, perhaps like during games, because if you haven't heard out there, and if you're a Sixers fan, Sixers are going to try to use a decent amount of nostalgia this coming season, whether it's the old classic Allen Iverson-era black jerseys that they're going to be wearing from time to time. And then we heard this past week the return of beloved mascot Hip Hop. He's going to be making his return, and he or she, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Hip Hop is. Thought it was a
pronouns, Jeff.
I know. Look, the marketing team for the 76ers, they're working on trying to keep certain segments of this fan base engaged. I don't know if it's necessarily going to work here, Eric, but we're at a point with the Philadelphia 76ers where they just are kind of grasping at straws here. They need to keep the fan base engaged, and they're going to be using some nostalgia this year to get it done. I have to say, like, I was like, when I saw the Hip Hop, I think I was on Instagram when I saw it. I was like, ooh, I'm like, this is going to be interesting.
Do people forget that everyone hated hip hop? I was there. All right. No one liked hip hop. It was this weird. It was the Sixers weird, like, well, kids like rap music. Let's make hip hop. Like,
right.
It sucked at the time. Now it's nostalgia. I think it still sucks.
What are they gonna do with Franklin?
Franklin's nice. Franklin's a dog.
I know he's nice.
Cute.
Are they gonna have both hip hop and Franklin out at the same time? And what's the dynamic gonna be?
Is Franklin gonna chase hip hop? Because isn't hip hop a rabbit?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't know. What about the big fat bald thing they had?
Why?
The Sixers.
That? Yeah.
Len sent us a picture of him the other day.
Derek Coleman. No.
No, Len would never send a picture today. He hates Derek Coleman.
I know he does.
In 2009, folks, we were in Detroit, Len and I, and we were at the Final Four, and we went to this bar, and it was owned by Derek Coleman, and he was in there, and all of us were going to shake his hand and to meet him. And Len walked out of the bar and stood out front. I went out like, Len, you want to go meet Derek Coleman? He goes, I'll never shake his hand. Because how much time I wasted watching him play basketball.
He refused to shake his hand.
Wouldn't even go back in the bar.
He stood out front.
One of my favorite Len moments. It was great.
My God.
It was like,
it's great.
It's 35 degrees out here. You'd rather do this than go talk to Derek Coleman. Fine. You do that.
We saw Derek. Didn't we see Derek Coleman airball a free throw at a game?
Yes. It was me and Len were at the game. Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't seen that from like a quote superstar maybe ever. It was unbelievable. Yeah. And the place was just like there's murmurs like what the
like what the hell was that? He airballed a free throw. What the hell?
How much does he make?
Yes.
But anyway, the nostalgia
here, yeah.
Hip hop is dumb. Of all the jerseys, the Iverson era, the black ones are like my least favorite.
I know.
Outside of like the mid '90s when they were just the Chuck Witherspoon or the Witherspoon jerseys.
Yes.
Dana Barros, like pre-Iverson. Those were the worst ever. Those were horrendous. There's nothing sadder than Moses Malone in his last year with the Sixers, with the crappy Sixers. It's like, just, we need to just end this. But I'm also almost 50. So kids younger than me that actually buy this shit probably see that and like, this is cool. Oh my God, this is like 20 some years ago. It's like,
because Iverson wore it and stuff.
Yeah. And again, I was there for it. And it was like my least favorite, but I understand why they're doing it. Is it going to work? No. Because if they don't win, That shit can only go so far.
It really
what
can.
I mean?
Yep.
Like, what do the Colorado Rockies do this year to get fans into the building, winning like 50 games or whatever they did, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure they had name me any great Rocky, Tulowitzki, Larry Walker, like name them all.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had like 50 of those for their home games, just to get people in the building.
Yeah.
And I still would watch their games sometimes, be like, there's 2,000 people there. This is a joke, right? But if the team's not winning, if they're fun to watch along with the nostalgia, that might work for a while. But if they come out, that starting 5 opening night, we talked about it 2 weeks ago or a week ago, that is going to be sad. But if they come out and they're just not, they're just getting trounced, you know. And Edgecombe is only scoring like 12 points. Maxi's putting up there's this will be fun for like a week or two. But if they're not winning at all, like I by Christmas time, this nostalgia is going to be dead.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to care.
Nobody's going to give a crap.
I mean, is Embiid and Paul George going to wear the shit on the bench over their street clothes, or like,
right?
Because I don't know when the hell they're going to play. I think that's obviously the key to the whole season, but like, this will work for a while as long as they're exciting. If they're not, then
and what the hell's hip hop going to do with them too? Like, was he going to flirt with them? It'd be like all flirty. Ooh.
Well, at least once a game's going to go over and be like, he's going to lay on both their legs. My hip hop, and it's like, get off their knees. Yes. My God, they can't. But I don't know if you saw Embiid at a practice game the other day. It looked really good. It was on Instagram.
I did. I saw it. All the good stuff's on Instagram, isn't it?
In a practice game.
Yes.
I saw people in the comments like, this could be it, man. He looks great. It's like,
God.
Dude, he's playing half speed against his own teammates. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, buddy, before I let you go, let's get into some Eagles talk here and whether or not we think this team can really turn things around after losing 2 games, one to the Denver Broncos, second game to the lowly New York Giants, who the Eagles made look like they were just a Super Bowl contending team. It was really, really incredible. As of us recording this, the Eagles have not played the Minnesota Vikings yet. A very winnable game, by the way, because they're probably going to have Carson Wentz under center, I would think, at this point. Hasn't been determined, but I have a feeling it's going to be Wentz. The Philadelphia Eagles should win this game. This should be a get right game, not the get wrong game from last week. So I think they can, but really it's mind-boggling. We're going to talk to our good friend Shane Haff from the Eagles Pinpool Network in a little bit here, where we're really going to dive into what this Eagles offense has looked like, how it can improve, but it can improve if they actually want it to improve. It's a predictable offense. And when you have a predictable offense, you just have to make changes. And I'm some dope here in my little home studio. I watched this team on the couch my entire life, yet I understand what's going on here with this team and how changes need to be made. I'm not sure why they don't do it. I'm really not sure why they don't do the obvious changes that need to be made.
Well, maybe they're not capable, oh my gosh. Maybe they're just not that good. I mean, one of the concerning things was Zadarius Smith just retiring this week.
Yeah.
That probably, I'm pretty sure that stoked some rumors of like what the hell's going on in that locker room.
Yeah.
That he's like, I mean, when he signed him, he was like, can't wait, man. I'm going for a ring. I can't wait to play. I'm so glad to be back. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, fuck off. I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was concerning in my opinion. I think Vegas has finally like got to the point of like, they don't trust the Eagles totally. I mean, they're 1.5-point favorites against Minnesota. I know it's in Minnesota, against Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
In what, Jordan Mason?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, who has as many yards as Saquon Barkley and less carries.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz has pretty much the same stats as Hurts with better completion percentage. Zach Bond has 2 sacks, and he's also leading the team in sacks. or tackles, 48 tackles.
Yeah.
This team's not performing at all.
No.
You're hoping Minnesota's kind of depleted, right? I mean, they have some injuries on defense, offense, so do we, but like this should be, this should be a get right game, but so was last week.
Yeah.
Like this one's supposed to be like, okay, let's kill the Giants, and then we'll gut one out against the Vikings, and we'll kill the Giants again next week, right?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea. And just the vibes of this team. I know vibes is ridiculous, and every kid uses that term now, but like the vibes of this team, not vibing for me.
No, not at all.
No.
There are questions about whether Quinyon Mitchell's going to play. If he doesn't, you've got Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, who are two damn good receivers in this league against Keely Ringo and possibly Adoree Jackson. And yes, I know they're going to take Cooper DeJean and probably put him on the outside, because he is absolutely fantastic, and he certainly is. But the secondary, man, is having problems. Andrew Makuba, like a really good player, but he is learning one of the most difficult positions in the league as a rookie, and he is making rookie mistakes. And he's got to learn. It's going to take time. But man, the secondary is having a hell of a time, and going up against Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison like that, I'm scared about that. I really am.
I am too. I mean, Mitchell makes the whole thing work.
Yes.
Makuba looked amazing beginning of the year. Mitchell looked awesome, right? I think Cooper DeJean looks awesome on one end if Mitchell's on the other end.
Yeah.
DeJean is not a 1 at all. I'm not even sure if he's a 2 at cornerback, right? He just doesn't play that position. You're hoping Makuba becomes your 2 eventually. And I know everyone loves Cooper DeJean. I'm not sure what his position is, but when you have Quinyon over here, you can make him your 2 and it all works out, right? And put Makuba in the nickel spot. But like Dickerson is questionable. Mitchell's questionable. Those are 2 scary, questionable players for this team. I know the Vikings have injuries too, but like, is there a party that's a little like, is Carson Wentz going to want to try and like have a fuck you game?
Yeah.
Not that I'm not sure if he's physically able to do it anymore, but like,
right.
He's never really had this chance, has he? Since they moved on from him?
Not really. Did he play?
I can't remember.
He was in Washington, but did he play against the Eagles when he was in Washington?
I don't know. And if he did,
I forget.
Not memorable at all.
Yeah, I actually forget.
But this game's. I would never. I gamble a little bit here and there, Jeff. Right?
A little bit.
I wouldn't touch this game. 10-foot pole. I wouldn't bet this game with your money, Jeff. Like this, this one is like, who the hell knows?
Really? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, Eagles could come out and just kill because if they can get the run game going, they will win this game. Absolutely. 100%. But if they can't, if Saquon Barkley isn't getting his over 3.4 yards of carry, which he's averaging this season, which is horrendous. If he doesn't do that, I think the Eagles actually lose this game. If it's the same old, I really do.
He's the same rushing yards as Mason.
Yes.
Like, I'm looking at their stats now. It's unbelievable.
It's nuts. It really is.
And every time I turn on Prime, I see this Saquon documentary. I'm like, let's just take that off.
Yeah.
And like, if he has another season like last year, then maybe I'll watch his Saquon doc. Now I'm like, you're killing us, Saquon.
I know. That's the offensive line. I don't think it's him.
I know that. But like, he was otherworldly last year, and he's the top reason we won the World Series, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We're never winning a World Series again.
Ever.
But you're hoping that, okay, Hurts was horrendous last week. That interception was a killer. I'm hoping he comes out and is like, all right, let me put the team on my back this one time.
Yeah.
Make some plays. I know it's going to be Minnesota. The defense going to be loud as hell in there. But like, can we see it one time this year, Hurts? Like, and it not be a goddamn tush push fest.
Right.
Like, I think I said on the do we even call that a post-game show last week?
It was fun, though.
It was. I went back and listened. I'm like, this is not analysis at all. This is just
this is just bitching and moaning.
But no, again, for this game, I have no clue. I don't know. The Giants game, I went in like, this is a 2-touchdown victory.
Yeah.
No question.
Yep.
With this one, I have no idea. I don't know what to think. So
it definitely is a get right game. But if they lose this and they end up going 4-3 on the season with 3 straight losses, there's going to be there has to be some sort of accountability. Something needs to happen, I think. And I don't think that's a knee-jerk reaction. I don't think it's an Eagles knee-jerk reaction and the fans saying, oh, somebody's got to be held accountable or fired or whatever. This is a Super Bowl winning team, and a lot of the same pieces are here, specifically on offense. I know there's injuries, stuff going on, but you've got Jeff Stoutland, who has done a damn good job with the offensive line over these years, and we're seeing some weird stuff going on with the offensive line.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily coaching on the offensive line standpoint, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think it's Jeff Stoutland. There's stuff going on with this team. There's injuries, yes, but Kevin Patullo, in terms of his play calling, in terms of the play designs themselves too, I just want to see some new stuff. I want to see Hurts going and looking at his second read, even his third read on plays. I want to see some intermediate routes over the middle. If
you're having trouble creating running lanes because your offensive line is hurt, then run a speedy pass first offense this Sunday.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's just see it. And like, let Hurts make the reads, but make it quick. You know what I mean? Like if it just like change the game plan to fit like what's going on with your personnel up front. Like, let's just see it one time. And this would be the game to maybe try it. But I think I said that for the Giants game and they didn't fucking do it. So, I mean, they did air it out a little more, but if Saquon needs to be a decoy, sure. I mean, just to get something, Penn State needs a coach. Maybe Cuckoo Holes could jump over this week.
I don't want him.
Well, and the nice thing too is the NFC East just keeps crap in the bed.
So we
might push our way into a first place win in the division because like the Cowboys lost the like that's ridiculous. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, buddy. I'm going to let you go. You have any final thoughts before we go to break and before we get to what we're throwing down on the table this week?
No, just still, last week was the worst, but it's still not great. Like the Flyers had that weird loss where they scored the goal and it was taken away.
Yep.
I'm not super high on the Sixers. If the Eagles lose Sunday, man,
we're going to feel bad.
It's going to start to...
It's gonna feel real bad.
But it is fun. Like when you cheer for a city with 4 teams, it really does. It goes up and down so fast.
Yep.
Like in August, we're just thinking like, or early September, like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Red October, Eagles are killing, and then man, and
just went.
Yeah, and then last Thursday at midnight, we're screaming at each other, pissed. That's how quickly it goes.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we got our buddy Shane Haff from the Eagles Pinpool Network. He's going to be joining us for some more Eagles analysis. Stick with us. All right, we're back to get into this Philadelphia Eagles team in a lot more detail with our good friend from the Eagles Pinpool Network on the Shane Page podcast. They're over on Patreon as well, and they do fantastic stuff over at the Eagles Pinpool Network. My good friend, Shane Haff. Shane, man, buddy, thanks so much for joining us here. I mean, it's probably not going to be the greatest discussion in the world, but we got to get into it. Like, this is what's happening with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but I appreciate you being here to discuss it with me, man.
Yeah, always happy to come on. Prefer coming on to break down Super Bowl wins over what just happened last week, but always good to come on and chat with you, Jeff.
Yeah, it's always great to have you, man. So let's get into this Eagles offense right off the bat right here. Let's talk about first just about the rushing attack, or maybe lack of rushing attack, why it just hasn't been productive this season. Saquon Barkley, as we know, one of the best running backs in the NFL, yet he's sitting at 3.4 yards per carry on 95 carries as of us recording this show. This is really coming down to, Shane, ineffective offensive line productivity in the rushing game, correct? Am I correct in that? What are your thoughts on why we've seen this rushing attack and game struggle so much here?
Yeah, I think there are multiple components to that. So first of all, when a guy has a 2,000-yard season with as many carries as Barkley has, you expect some sort of regression the next year. Now, that said, Barkley's made some cuts and some spins this year that don't look like that is the issue. And I don't think that is the issue. I think he might just be a freak that's able to sustain that over a couple of years. And so I actually don't think it has anything to do with the workload from last year.
Okay.
I mean, first and foremost, you mentioned the struggles of the offensive line, and particularly the interior offensive line. Now, there's some nuance to that. We know that Landon Dickerson has been playing through injury. We know that Cam Jurgens, had to put off a surgery because of the Super Bowl, and he hasn't looked great. And so we can start out saying there's been some injury things that are overarching here.
Yeah.
But the Eagles' offensive line is 21st in run block win rate this year, and they were 9th last year. And so that's a piece of it. The offensive line is not playing very well.
Right.
Saquon Barkley is averaging 0.98 yards per contact per rushing attempt. Last year it was at 2.38. So basically gone from 2.4 yards before he was touched down to about 1 yard. So that's a huge difference. And that's indicative. That's not Saquon just suddenly losing his vision. That's offensive line play. Now, where it can get hard to riddle that out is the offense is also just so tremendously predictable. And so you'll have elements of the defense knows what you're doing. And so offensive linemen get beat, maybe not because they're injured or they're playing bad, but because the defense just knows. And the offense is tremendously predictable. I charted out splits just based on QB alignment, run or pass. And I haven't updated those for the Giants game because I haven't just had the motivation to go watch the offense a whole lot again. But it was something about 80% of the Eagles' snaps in shotgun or passes, and about 20% of their snaps from under center or pistol or passes. And so you get a massive indicator. You can see teams attacking downhill when the Eagles take a snap in pistol. And so that's part of it. And then part of it too, besides the predictability, is just the scheme. A year ago, the Eagles ran gap scheme runs on about 36% of their carries. And for the listener, a gap, real easy way to recognize gap scheme is there's a puller. Usually if an offensive lineman pulls, usually it's going to be gap scheme. Usually if none of them pull, it is a zone blocking scheme. Not always. There's some gap schemes that don't use a puller, but we won't get too much into the semantics there. But 36% of their carries last year were gap scheme runs, and they were a lot more effective doing that. 30% more yards per carry. They had 3 times the EPA per attempt. Well, this year, that gap scheme runs are down to 21% of their attempts. So they're running gap scheme less. And you think about a guy like Cam Jurgens, who is so good out on the move, and they're just not using him that way. I posted up, I think it was from the Broncos game when they had like that 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 6 after the penalty. And they called the only under center play of the game, and it was a run. And they asked Cam Jurgens to reach block, so jump across the face of Dexter Lawrence and seal him out play side. When last year, almost certainly they would have had Tyler Steen down block him and pull Cam Jurgens behind him through the hole. They're just not doing those things.
Yeah.
And so then when you're going to just run zone, you need your quarterback involved in the running game, and Hurts hasn't been involved in the running game. He had just under 5 designed runs per game last year, and that's been cut in half to about 2.6 this year. So all of those things add up to the run game just being really bad, and the rest of the offense follows after that, because I firmly believe the biggest issue is the run game. Last year, the Eagles scheme was pretty simple. The run game was dominant. And so when you saw teams have to load up the box like the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl, the offense could shred them. This year, teams are stopping the run from light boxes because it's predictable, because the scheme is bad, and because the offensive line hasn't played particularly well.
I'm really, quite frankly, baffled by the fact that the offensive coaching on this team hasn't made any sort of alterations in the opposite direction of what you just said in terms of predictability. I'm really surprised by that. I mean, I would imagine that professional football coaches in this day and age are seeing what they're seeing on film week after week, have to be saying in these coaching rooms, this is predictable and we have to change it. You know, I was watching your video this past week that you posted on Twitter/X that dissected the play where Jalen Hurts threw his first interception of the season. Honestly, fantastic dissection of that, Shane. And you were talking about and questioning this play based on the actual play design itself. And you also mentioned, as you were breaking down the film, you're only seeing one receiver route that they can throw to on just about every passing play as well. Only one. And it's mind-boggling, again, to know that a talent like Jalen Hurts, with all the talent on this team at skill positions, that this is how the passing game continues to operate here. And they are not making alterations, and they're continuing to do the same predictable type of play calling week after week. I mean, can they alter this? Or maybe I should ask, do you think they'll be able to alter this as the season progresses? And what would that mean in terms of offensive productivity?
Yeah, so much of what the Eagles do in their passing game is they run these mirrored concepts. So you run the same thing on both sides of the field. And so much of it is like mirrored hitch routes with corner routes behind it. And it's like, if I open up to the left and that hitch route's not there, the hitch route on the right broke at the same time. And so I'm late to it. I can't throw it.
Yeah.
If the corner route isn't there, which it never will be because they're not conflicting zone defenders, I have to bounce all the way to the other side of the field to see a route breaking the other direction that also broke at the same time. And I can't possibly get to it. You know, you watch other teams in the NFL and you've got a route attacking outside the numbers on the right. And if that's not there, then you've got routes coming across the middle of the field. And so you can scan right to left and there's a logical way to move through these. And the Eagles just don't have that. And so could they alter that? Absolutely. And it's honestly not hard, which is what makes it even more baffling. They haven't done it yet. That's what I don't understand. And so I hesitate to make definitive statements like the season is over if Kevin Patullo isn't demoted, because the fixes seem so unbelievably simple to me that surely he will make these changes. And yet I haven't seen any sight of it yet. And so I have no confidence that he will, but at the same time, it's like, I can't say he won't because this is elementary stuff. And so, there's a lot of easy buttons I think the Eagles could push on this offense to really, you don't have to bring in a whole different scheme. We don't have to run under center play action crossing routes. Like we don't have to run the Kyle Shanahan offense, the Mike McDaniel. We don't have to do that. The elements are all there. They were sequenced differently last year and they worked. And so there's easy things you can do. Like run empty more often. The Eagles empty is a cheat code. It spreads the offense or the defense out. It makes them declare pre-snap. Their coverage structure, where their pressure is coming from, all of those things are helpful. And the negative to empty is that it hurts your run game. But it doesn't with the Eagles because Jalen Hurts can be the run game out of empty 5 or 6 times a game. If they widen out too much, you just run it. And it's not like, Saquon Barkley's ripping off good gains this year where it's like, man, now we can't really run Barkley much.
Yeah.
So get in empty.
What about mesh concepts? I'd love to see some mesh concepts every now and again too.
Yeah. Especially against man. They love to run that against zone, but
yeah, I know. Yes.
Ditch 12 personnel. Like literally don't ever put a second tight end on the field. It's terrible when you do. If you want to do that, put a 6th O lineman on the field because even you can call a pass play with a 6th O lineman on the field. It's fine. You've got to be willing to run Hurts. Like I love Jalen Hurts. If you are going to use him as a pocket passer and not move the pocket, move the launch point, not use him as a runner, he's not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL because you're stripping away one of his superpowers, which is his rushing ability. And so you've got to be willing to run Hurts. Redesign these routes so they're breaking at different depths in a logical way that makes sense, and then push the ball downfield. I mean, the last game, Hurts threw 5 passes downfield. 3 of them were completions. 1 was a defensive pass interference, and the other one was an open touchdown that they just misfired on. And so that's an 80% success rate. And the other one was just a rare missed throw by Hurts. And so there's some easy things that you can do. And it blows my mind that they haven't done any of them.
Yeah, they got to start implementing them for sure. And, before we hit the record button, you and I were talking a little bit, about what this offense has looked like, what it hasn't looked like. And they just have been terrible using motion in this offense. When it is used, it's not being used to really enhance the playbook at all. I mean, I recall them using motion last season under Kellen Moore pretty effectively, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm wondering, is this really a Kevin Patullo issue here? And how are you seeing something as straightforward as utilizing motion? By the way, a key aspect to playing the game of football on offense here in 2025. How do you see that not being utilized by an offense that, again, there's really good skill players on this team? What's the issue here, Shane?
Yeah. So the Eagles, I don't think the Eagles have ever used motion in a great way. So they're using motion about the same rate they did last year, but they don't use it to do anything other than you can get a pre-snap man/zone indicator. If you motion your running back out and a linebacker follows him, it's probably man. And so they do that some. But outside of that, they don't do anything with it. They don't target the motion man ever.
Never.
They usually don't have him run a route that's even in play. He just motions out and then it doesn't matter. You don't have to cover him because we're not looking at him.
We see that with Devontae all the time.
Yeah, literally the only time I remember them targeting the motion man was a pass to Devontae Smith in the fourth quarter of the Giants game. And it went for 16 yards because when he motions outside of A.J. Brown, both defenders covered A.J. Brown because they think there's no way the Eagles are throwing this to Devontae Smith, and he gets 16 yards easy. Yeah, because the Eagles just never throw it. And so to me, motion is good if you use it with a purpose. The way the Eagles use it is completely pointless. And if that's what they're going to do, I would rather them just stop using it. Teams, you watch a team like the Dolphins for years, and I know they haven't been good this year, but they sync their motion up with the snap of the ball. So it's that cheat motion. You're switching the release of the receivers. The outside guy is now the inside guy right at the snap. It can confuse defenses, but also you've got a guy running full speed at the snap that can get upfield and fire off the line. The Eagles actually slow themselves down when they motion snap somebody because the timing's off. There's no urgency because it's not in play anyways. And I would rather you just throw the motion out than use it the way that they're using it. But it's another one of those things, you saw it with the Devontae Smith catch in the fourth quarter of the Giants game. Do that. It's there, and make teams take that away and make teams respect it.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. Gosh, I hope we see something different this next game with the Minnesota Vikings and this Vikings team, a vulnerable team. And I think this offense could actually do some good things if they made some alterations. So we're going to take a quick break here, folks. Again, we're talking to Shane Haff from the Eagles Pinpool Network. My friend, tell everybody where they can find you out there on socials, your Patreon as well. You guys do some great analysis.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Shane Haff NFL. I tweet lots of all 22 content throughout the week. And then we've got a public podcast network, the Eagles Pinpool Network. Get that on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. But then Johnny Page and Eric and I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Eagles Film Room. And each week, and there's different tiers, but Eric does a big write-up predicting the next game. Johnny's doing a film preview. I'm doing an all 22 pass game review, which I'm recording after this show, by the way. And then we do a player spotlight where we let our patrons vote. And there's whatever player they vote for. This week it was Jalix Hunt. I go and watch every snap of his in all 22 and just talk about what I'm seeing assignment wise and what he's doing. And so lots more all 22 stuff probably than you can consume on a weekly basis, but that's at Eagles Film Room. So you can go check that out.
Great stuff, folks. All right, when we get back, we got more Eagles talk. We're going to get into the defense, and then, yes, we're going to actually try to get into some positivity with regard to this team. We're going to try to do that after the break. Stick with us. All right, we are back with our good friend Shane Haff. And Shane, want to dive into this Eagles defense here. And I said on our post-game podcast show, it seems after all these weeks, it's very apparent that we haven't seen that development in the pass rush that we were hoping. You know, you just right before the break, you mentioned Jalix Hunt. You know, we really haven't, at least to the naked eye, you know, I don't analyze like you do, but Jalix Hunt, Moro Ojomo, haven't necessarily seen that pass rush, and specifically these guys getting home, you know, getting the sacks. You know, maybe they are developing and I'm not seeing it, but I'm frustrated at the fact that only, you know, 3 quarterback hits we saw from last week against the Giants, 2 sacks. I think they have 9 total sacks through 6 games this season, which is ranked 25th in the league. Is it a talent issue up front, in your opinion? Is it Vic Fangio? What are your thoughts on what I believe is a very sad state of this Eagles pass rush at this point in the season? I don't know. Maybe you could talk me off the ledge here. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Eagles fans underestimated the impact of losing Josh Sweat and Milton Williams.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I don't think Eagles fans ever truly really loved Josh Sweat, but Milton Williams last year, they were like, man, Milton Williams is awesome. He's a great player. And as soon as he left, they were like, it was all about Jalen Carter. Moro Ojomo is going to do the same thing this year. And we kind of do that at times. It's like the guy is great when he's here. And as soon as he leaves, like, well, he wasn't really that good. The next guy will be as good. So Milton Williams ranks 3rd in the NFL in defensive tackle pass rush win rate right now at 17%. Josh Sweat ranks 4th among edge rushers with a 26% win rate. And then, of course, you lost Brandon Graham, too. And so you lose all of these guys. And then you combine that with Jalen Carter being off to the slowest start of his career. Nolan Smith is hurt. Jalix Hunt heated up last year in the playoffs, and people thought he would just continue that. And that was probably unrealistic. He's more like where, you know, you kind of thought he would be. And so the talent drain is a big deal. Specifically against the Giants also, Jackson Dart just got the ball out so fast. It was like 2.51 seconds was his average time to throw. And so it's hard to rush the passer when the ball is coming out that quick as well. But I think that Josh Uche and Azeez Ojulari and Jalix Hunt are perfectly playable edge rushers. You know, if we're going to like grade them, they're like 6 out of 10s probably.
Okay.
None of them are somebody an offense has to game plan around, but they are perfectly acceptable starters. But you need one of those guys you have to game plan around somewhere, and the Eagles just don't have that right now. Jalen Carter is not playing at the level he was. Moro Ojomo hasn't taken the leap people hoped he would. And Nolan Smith, who was your most consistent edge rusher, is out injured. And so, you know, I think your edge rusher group can be okay with Nolan Smith when he comes back, and with Hunt and Uche and Ojulari. I think that group can be okay as long as Jalen Carter starts to play dominant football again. And, you know, you get a little more from a guy like Moro Ojomo rushing on the interior. And so I think the biggest issue with the pass rush right now just boils down to that talent drain and Jalen Carter just not being Jalen Carter. And maybe there's injury things playing into that. You know, he misses the Giants game with an injury. And so, you know, at the end of the day, I just need the defensive line to get healthy and see where we go from there.
All right. Well, moving along here, I again, this has been a lot of doom and gloom here in our conversation, but you know, it's hard not to when this team just lost to the New York Giants here. So let's try to get into something positive here, Shane. What do you think is the most consistent positive that you've actually seen from the Eagles so far this season? Have you seen anything?
The first thing that comes to mind for me is Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. I mean, those guys are incredible, and the NFL's insane for letting both of them fall to the Eagles in the same draft. Hughes should have been a top 10 pick. It should have been borderline if Cooper DeJean would have been there in the mid-20s when the Eagles picked. There's no way he ever should have. Either one of them should have fallen that far, and I think they've played really good football this year. Q had a bit of a rough game against the Broncos with Cortland Sutton. I will say, like, in that game, I thought his coverage was incredibly sticky. He was just out muscled at the catch point by a receiver that's 4 inches and 30 pounds heavier than he is. So that's going to happen at times. And that's something he can improve on. But his coverage has been really good. Cooper DeJean's picked up right where he left off. And so you can cover a lot of ills in a secondary when you've got 2 guys like that. And then, you know, Zach Zach Bond has been good. He's coming off a little bit of a rougher stretch these last 2 games, but Zach Bond's been good. And I think Jihad Campbell, although, and again, he had a rough game against the Giants, I think Jihad Campbell might be a budding superstar. The instincts and coverage are so good. He needs to do a little bit of work in the run game, but I've seen that get better. And so I think the core of this defense has been a hit over the last couple of drafts. And that's something to be excited about. It's a consistent positive that I've seen week over week.
All right. Very good. And before we let you go, buddy, 2-part question here to close us out, being the biggest hurdles on both the offense and the defense. Let's start on the offense. What's the biggest hurdle on offense for this Philadelphia Eagles team?
I think it's twofold, and we've kind of talked about it. It's the predictability of the offense, and it's the design of the offense. And again, I'm not saying that the Eagles need to scrap their entire playbook and install a whole new scheme, because you obviously can't do that in a year. But there's minor design tweaks that you can make. There are play sequencing things that you can do better just to be less predictable. And if the Eagles can do that, there's no reason this offense can't be good again. Right. They've got all the pieces. Obviously, you need to get healthy. You need your offensive line operating at full strength, but predictability and design are the 2 biggest issues for the Eagles offense.
Something I wanted to mention, I have seen on more than a few occasions Jordan Mailata really getting pushed around, and it's been very, very bizarre to watch. Have you noticed that as well?
Yeah, he's had some bad reps, absolutely, so far this year.
Okay, let's move over the defense here. Biggest hurdle for this Eagles defense as they're moving forward here, Shane?
I think it's the pass rush, which we already kind of talked about a bit too, but, so we can talk about CB2, and especially after the Giants game, they're missing their top 2 receivers, and you see Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo both play bad games. But when you have Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean healthy and on the field, if you can't hide a weaker CB between those 2 guys, you're not a very good coach. And I think Vic Fangio is an excellent coach. So sure, it would be nice if you hadn't let Isaiah Rodgers out of the building, but I think CB is fine. There's some issues with Andrew Makuba. He is busting a lot of coverages right now. And that needs cleaned up. For him, it's not a physical thing. It's not an effort thing. It's a mental thing. And he's a 2nd-round rookie in a pretty complex defense, playing the most difficult position in that defense. So I think you play him through that, and you coach him through that, and you hope he's put that all together down the stretch. I think that's probably what you do there. And so, that can cause some cascading issues with corners and with Reed Blankenship not trusting Makuba will be where he should be. But I think that gets better with time. The pass rush is the thing for me. It's the biggest issue right now. And other than, you need Jalen Carter to be dominant. And I think they need to go get a defensive tackle as well. Byron Young is playing like 20 snaps a game right now, and he's unplayable.
He's not great.
He's bad. If you're talking about who can you go get, well, a day 3 pick at corner is not going to give you something much better than what you have. A day 3 pick at edge rusher is not going to give you something much better than what you have. A day 3 pick on the interior defensive line will give you something that is so much far and away better than Byron Young. That's what I would be looking to do to try to improve the defense.
Oh, very good. He is Shane Haff, folks, from the Eagles Pinpool Network. Subscribe on whatever podcast you may be listening to us on. I know you guys are, you're on Patreon, like you said earlier. I know you've got YouTube stuff, correct, as well?
Yes. Eagles Pinpool on YouTube as well.
All right. Very good. My friend, thank you so much. Great analysis, as always. I would love to have you come back on the show at some point, get into more Birds talk. I'd love to have you, man.
Absolutely. Anytime, Jeff.